She stopped at a light and saw him walking in that field behind the Lost River Drive-In. Julie said he was so creepy.
Hey, what's up, every? Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick here, and today I wanted to give you guys another tier list. Now, if you remember, I was pumping these things out like nobody's business. I was having a ton of fun doing them. And then Scream 7 happened. And of course, the direction of my channel changed for a week or so because that was the hot topic. Everybody wanted to talk about it, including me. But I still saw your comments, and a lot of you guys were giving me suggestions for tier lists that you wanted to see me do. And one tier list that I hadn't done yet, that honestly kind of blew my mind that I hadn't, was Saw. I'm a huge Saw fan. If you know anything about me, you know I love the Saw franchise. I will make excuses for just about any Saw movie. Just about any Saw movie. So today I thought there's 10 movies. Why not give you guys a tier list for the Saw franchise? And I want to show you guys the tiers that I have created. And you can tell me if these are crazy or if you agree. So these tiers are as follows. The top tier is There Will Be Blood. Now, basically, these tiers were basically like off of the iconic status of the line, in my opinion. That's like my favorite Jigsaw line. So There Will Be Blood is the top, the cream of the crop, the best of the best. I want to play a game, which I know everybody would go, how is that not the top one? I don't know. There's just always something about that There Will Be Blood line that has always just really done things to me. The next is Make Your Choice, which basically means, it's good, it's decent, could have been better, could have been a lot worse. The next one is Look Closer, Detective Matthews, which when this line is said in Saw 2, it's like, really? Like, you really think like the audience is that dumb? We have to literally spell this out. I also just, I don't care for that moment. And then the final one is Game Over, which means absolutely not, no way, under no circumstances is this movie passable. So without further ado, let's get right into this with the original Saw, a movie that many people say is iconic, one of the greatest horror films of the 21st century. And I'm here to tell you guys that I know that a lot of people say that, but I agree. Yes, it goes into There Will Be Blood. Look, what can somebody say about Saul that hasn't already been said? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I'm going to try not to. But everything that people say about this movie is true. This is one of the most surprising twists in a horror film that I've seen in my lifetime. When John stands up in that bathroom at the end of the movie with the crescendo of Hello Zep, it's one of those moments where you're never going to forget where you were the first time you saw that. At least I won't. Like, I remember seeing that for the first time and being like, yo, no way. And for good reason. It's an insanely cool moment. A moment that I just, again, I don't even know what else to say. It's just something that will live in my head forever. James Wan really cut his teeth with this movie, and clearly he has gone on to do huge things in the horror genre, and rightfully so. The dude is a friggin' maestro. Him and Mike Flanagan, I think, are the best directors working today when it comes to horror. Like, period, point blank, argue with a wall. This movie really was this grungy, dingy, low budget, original idea that Lee Wanell and James Wan crafted from scratch and just put it out there, and it became a phenomenon. It cannot be overstated how important this movie was to the boon of horror films that we would get in the mid to late 2000s. And even still today, we are still seeing the effects and the fallout of the popularity of the Saw franchise. So, Saw may not be everybody's thing, and trust me, I totally understand that. But the original film is not like what the franchise ended up becoming. So I'm giving this easily There Will Be Blood status. The next one is Saw 2. And this is a fan favorite too. And let me just tell you guys, I probably watched this one more when I was, a teenager than I did the first movie. There was something about the poster with like the two fingers. I remember buying this one on DVD. This was the first one that I bought, and I just wore this DVD out. And there's a lot to really like about this movie. I love the inclusion of Detective Matthews in here. Donnie Wahlberg, love Donnie. He's not, Mark's not the only Wahlberg, okay? I really loved Donnie in this movie. I love the fact that we really got to see more complex, mean-spirited traps. We got to see a larger game at play with a bigger cast of characters, and I really felt like that added a lot to this movie. I liked the tension of having the detective's son caught in the middle of this. And then now as a parent, I think to myself, like, what would I do in that situation? What lengths would I be willing to go to? And so there's a lot to love about this. It's got my favorite Jigsaw line, obviously, being, "Oh, yes, there will be blood." Um, I think this is one of Tobin's best performances in the role, really. I mean, he gets a lot to do in this movie. Now, again, not really his fault with the first film, because in the first film, he is, laying on the bathroom floor. But just a really, really good movie. And I'm putting it in I Want to Play a Game. I'm not putting it in There Will Be Blood. And I know for a lot of people that is going to be sacrilegious. And I can't even say I don't understand it. I understand why. There are a lot of reasons why this is so beloved. And I think I just mentioned a lot of them. I guess the thing for me is it didn't really work for me, the surprise of this movie. Like the twist, like, oh my God, Amanda's in on it. No shit. You know what I mean? Like that didn't shock me at all. And I really feel like the ending of the first movie is what separates it from the second film. So while it is a great movie, I don't think it's quite There Will Be Blood status. And I might get some hate for that, and that's okay. Next up is Saw 3. And I want to tell you guys a story about Saw 3. When I was 12 years old, I snuck into this movie with a buddy of mine named Joe. And I can't even remember what tickets we bought a movie to, but we were like, we're going to see Saw 3. And this was back before assigned seating. So you could just walk into a theater, and if it wasn't sold out, who cares? Just sit wherever. And it wasn't sold out. And I freaking ate this movie up from the very first time I saw it. And now, viewing it from a different lens, like I said, as an adult and as a parent, it hits even deeper. Because the story here with Jeff having to let go of what happened to his son and forgive is really, really, really powerful stuff and really difficult to think about. I don't know if I could have done what he did, frankly. And I never want to be faced with that ever in my life. This movie has insanely cool traps. This movie, again, has a phenomenal performance by Tobin Bell. This movie has a really good twist in the sense that at the end, you find out this game was all Amanda's game. This wasn't Lynn's game or Jeff's game. It was Amanda's game, and Amanda failed. I love the triangle here with Jigsaw and Amanda and Lynn. I really, really dig that stuff. Saw 3 is a movie that I feel like is the franchise operating at its best. This is the peak of the Saw franchise, in my opinion. You have the emotional core, you have the performances, you have the traps, you have the twist, you have everything you could want. But this cuts deeper than any Saw film for me. No pun intended. So Saw 3 is going into There Will Be Blood. And I'm not even going to explain myself any more than that. Like, I genuinely believe that, like, most people should agree. Yeah, that's a good placement for it. It belongs there. Next up is Saw 4. Now, this was when I was fully a Saw fan. I had seen, obviously, I bought Saw 2. I saw Saw 3 in the theater. I went and saw 4 in the theater. Wow, man, Saw with a girlfriend at the time. And, back then you would think, oh, yeah, it's a great movie to take a girlfriend to, though you can make out the whole time and they're going to be hugging on you. No, I mean, she was hugging on me because she was terrified. She kept hiding her face. I was just enthralled by this movie. Saw 4 did some things that I really, really dug. I love the message of this movie that Rig needs to, I don't know, take a breath, slow down every now and then. The idea that his obsession is going to be what ultimately brings his demise and the demise of those he cares about is like, it's a really powerful lesson to learn. I mean, when you learn it, it's a little too late, but still. I love some of the traps in this movie. I love that they brought Detective Matthews back because I was like, yeah, I knew he was alive. We've got to revisit this plot strand. Eventually, we can't just accept that he's gone and just move on. No, I refused to do so. But Saw 4 is one of those movies that as the years have gone on, I do feel like it got to be a little bit overindulgent in some of its themes and some of its violence, and not in a way that I feel like is fun to watch. You know, like there are aspects of this movie for me that I just don't think hold up as much, hold up as well as some of the other Saw films. But I still think it's a really good movie. Oh, what do I do here? Oh man. Also, I do have to mention that Hoffman, the twist with Hoffman, I saw it coming a mile away. Like, oh, so Detective Matthews is literally dangling by his neck, standing on 2 ice blocks, and you're just like, what, tied to a chair? Come on, bro. I'm gonna put it in I want to play a game simply for nostalgia. But it is a good movie. But I'm putting it in I want to play a game. So at this point, the Saw franchise is firing on all cylinders. You know, the first 4 movies are all varying levels of pretty damn good to great. Then we got Saw 5. And I've heard over the years with, you know, from a lot of people that they love Saw 5 because Saw 5 changes things up in a lot of ways. And it does. You now have Hoffman taking over as the apprentice in this movie, and you get flashbacks galore in this film. This is really when the flashbacks like took over the movies. There was a lot in 4, don't get me wrong, but 5, most of the narrative is flashbacks, and understandably so because everybody's friggin' dead. But you know, Hoffman being this like vengeful dick that doesn't give people a chance to live, really just starting off in the movie. I don't like that because that kind of betrays, not even kind of, it betrays John's point from the very beginning. Now, that's not to say I don't like Hoffman. I love Hoffman. But he's a character that I feel like it took some time to warm up to being an apprentice, being somebody behind the scenes here, kind of dictating everything. So, for me, Saw 5 does a lot of cool things. I do like the inclusion of Strum, and I like that back and forth that he and Hoffman have in this movie. I do like some of the flashbacks here. I'm not going to be a hater of the flashbacks, really, because they tell necessary parts of the story that couldn't be told without them because a lot of these characters are dead. But there is something missing with Saw 5. I feel like the overall game here really isn't as interesting. The characters aren't as interesting. There's no really emotional core here. I'm putting Saw 5 and make your choice. I think it's pretty middle of the road, and I think that's fair. Saw 6. Saw 6, famously a 6th film in a horror franchise that has no business being as good as it is. And I'm not even being hyperbolic. It genuinely has no business being as good as it is. I'm showing my hand a little bit, but it is that good. It is all that in a bag of chips. Look, Saw 6 goes back to what I loved about Saw 3. It has a lot to say with its overall game. Now, in Saw 3, it's more about a familial relationship, obviously, and grief and loss. And this one is more about looking at America as a whole and how fucked up the system is. And I love that. Like, I love when movies are on the nose with that messaging because, like, most of us here agree, like, yeah, this is bullshit, bro. Healthcare is insanely expensive in this country. Nobody's ever really done much about it. And it's 2026, just wild. But there's some great traps in here. There's some great performances in here. Some great Tobin Bell in this movie. I don't know where you go wrong with Saw 6. I really don't. I mean, somebody enlighten me. You know, if I'm missing something, oh no, hey, don't glaze it too much. This is terrible because blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm ready to hear you out, but I just can't get there with Saw 6. I think Saw 6 is great. So if I'm putting it in I want to play a game. I think that Saw 3 is better, but Saw 6 is damn good. And I don't even think I'm going to get a lot of pushback on that. This is a fan favorite. So I don't know why I feel like sometimes I need to over-explain things like, oh, I gotta cover my ass here because you never know. No, I think most people agree this movie friggin' rocks. Saw 3D, or Saw the Final Chapter. All right. So let's just get a couple things out of the way first. From an objective standpoint, Saw 3D is not a very good film. One, the 3D stuff really stands out, especially the color of the blood. I know that's because of the 3D. It looks much better in 3D. Okay, well, most of us are watching this in 2D these days. It's definitely two movies jammed into one. It just is, and that is because they wanted to wrap the series up because of the diminishing returns at the box office. But it shows that this should have been two movies. The overall game here, the larger game here with God, what's his name? Bobby Dagan. Yeah, no thanks. It's cringe at times. The wife did not deserve to die. That was like super mean spirited. Didn't care for any of that. The detective, like the new cop here, I guess. Wow, that guy couldn't act his way out of a brown paper bag. But there's some good kills in here, some good traps. I will give it props. I love having Chester Bennington in this movie. Okay, it's going to be goated forever just because of that. And bringing Dr. Gordon back was something that we needed to do. It simply had to happen. It was something we had speculated about for years. They shouldn't have shown their hand. Having him be in the meetings, it just gave away the twist. But I'm happy he's here nonetheless. And the fact that Hoffman has basically just become a straight up slasher villain at this point is awesome. Like, awesome. But there's a lot of issues with Saw 3D. So I'm putting it and Look Closer, Detective Matthews. I don't think it's terrible. I do think there are redeeming qualities about this movie, and I feel like I named some of them. But I gotta say, seriously, I need to know what happened to Hoffman after this. The fact that this is where we're left with Hoffman still over a decade later just does not sit right with me. We got to get some answers here. You want to talk about the direction of the Saw franchise moving forward? That's what I want. All right. Jig fucking Saw. Game over, dude. I mean, this movie sucks, man. I'm just going to be real with you. I know there's some fans of this movie, and I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong. My word is not gold here, okay? But I mean, from the first time I saw this movie, I was just not on board with it. Not at all. I hate the whole OMG, is this a sequel or a prequel approach until the reveal at the very end when it's obviously a prequel because Jigsaw is dead. So, like, that twist was terrible. The fact that we have another apprentice 8 movies in that's never been alluded to, we know nothing about, offensive. Genuinely offensive. You are insulting my intelligence at this point. The acting in this movie, bad, dog. It's not good. The traps, bruh. The fact that this was supposed to be Jigsaw's first ever game, and it's actually a pretty damn big game. Big enough for this crazy, obsessed fan to own a bunch of memorabilia from it. But we never knew about it before that? Come on, dude. This is when the franchise jumped the shark. Okay, some people will say it was 3D. No. It was Jigsaw. It's always been Jigsaw. They jumped a million sharks with this movie to the point where I couldn't forgive it. I was like, nope, that's enough. But don't worry, because then they were like, you know what? We're going to do a spinoff. We're going to do an in-universe film, but it's not going to be Jigsaw. It's going to be a copycat. But we're going to have the same formula, but a different voice and a different getup, but the same structure. We're going to bring Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson in. It's going to be great. Spiral from the Book of Saul. All right, so when I first saw this movie, I was a little more forgiving to it because I thought, there's some cool traps in here. It did feel nice to be back like in the grungy, dingy world of Saw. Aesthetically, like Darren Lynn Bousman really brought that aesthetic back to Spiral, and I appreciated that. Dude, everything else about this movie is not good. The voiceover's terrible. I know it's not supposed to be Jigsaw. That's fine. It doesn't have to sound like Kermit the Frog. Like, it's just all, it's awful. It's awful. Chris Rock, love him. I don't know what he's doing here. I don't think the performance is good. The look on his face the entire time looks like somebody just let out a huge fart and he just got a whiff of it. I like Samuel L. Jackson in it. He's pretty funny. The ending of this movie, genuinely, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know what else to say. They try to like redo the iconic like closing of the bathroom door as the credits roll, and it's like, I'm getting into an elevator. The fucking SWAT is like all right here. Nobody saw me get into the elevator. Haha. Bye. Chris Rock screaming and holding out his arm. No. It's just like, bro, what are we doing? Like, genuinely, what are we doing here? Oh man. Oh, in the reveal. Look. In a Saw movie, if somebody dies and we don't see it happen on screen, we don't get a flashback, we don't see it happen in real time, that should be a big red flag to you. A huge one, massive one. As soon as that happened in this movie, I was like, it's that guy. And then what do you know? It was that guy. This genuinely, it's competent, like in terms of like how it's lit, how it's shot, like sound design. Like, I think Darren Lynn Bousman did a solid job just from like a composition standpoint of a film, like filmmaking. Holy shit, though. Everything else is like amateur hour. The writing, the performances, the story. It's just no. So I was a little more forgiving before. I won't be this time. Spiral from the Book of Saw goes into game over. And then the last one, up until we're about to get this Blumhouse reboot, and we'll talk on that in a minute, is Saw X. Now, I just want to say, when they announced that this was going to be a midquel or an interquel, whatever you want to call it, that was going to take place between Saw and Saw 2, I was cool with that. Because, let's be honest, after Saw 3D, after Jigsaw going 10 years back in time, and then after Spiral being a totally like offshoot, one-off thing, it had gotten convoluted. So let's go back to kind of the golden era of Saw. Let's bring back some of the major players. Let's strip this down again. Totally dug that. Was on board with that. And this movie absolutely fucking ruled. Okay? Absolutely rules. Look, we can bitch and moan all day about Shawnee Smith's wig. It is what it is, guys. Like, they had to do it. They had to do it. Unless you wanted them to do CGI, which we all bitch about that too. They had to do it. I accept it. It is what it is. We can bitch about the fact that some of them look older. Oh, man. It is what it is, dude. I don't want the de-aging. We've been over this a million times in movies these days. It looks terrible. You might as well just suspend disbelief, man. Have fun. This is John Kramer's movie. Tobin Bell gives his best performance as John Kramer in the entire franchise in this film. Period. Point blank. Argue with a wall. This has the best plot. This has the best performances all around. This has some of the most viscerally insane, disgusting traps. Grindhouse, really industrial. Makes sense. It was early on Jigsaw. I fucking love this movie. I think this movie is fantastic. I think the thing that carries this movie is Tobin. The message. This is personal. And I heard people over the years saying like, oh, you know, I don't like Saw X as much because it feels like you're rooting for Jigsaw. Bro, I was rooting for Jigsaw the whole time. What are we even talking about? It wasn't until Saw X where you started to have that like conflict of like, oh my God, I think I'm rooting for Jigsaw. I was always rooting for him. Always. He's a good bad guy. The message of this movie, the point, has been his point the entire time. This is nothing new. We just lost a bunch of the fat around the edges and we focused on the core, which is what some of the later Saw movies should have done. Look at Saw 3D and Saw 5 and Jigsaw. Focusing way too much on the fat. Where's the core? Where's the center? Saw X did not struggle with that at all. This is easily, there will be blood. And in my opinion, the second best Saw film after Saw 3. Period. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. If you don't agree, that's fine, but I'm not sorry. So there you have it. There's my Saw tier list of the franchise. All 10 movies as it currently sits. We've got 2 in the top tier. There Will Be Blood, or not 2, 3. 3 in the, A tier, I guess. I want to play a game. 1 right in the middle, make your choice. 1 right in Look Closer, Detective Matthews, and 2 in Game Over. It should be no surprise to you why I love this franchise. There's 10 movies, and I think 6 of them are great. Great to phenomenal. I think 1 of them is pretty good. I think another 1 of them is okay. And only 2 that are bad. If you're batting 800, 80% of the time, I'm going to like what you give me. You're a damn good franchise. Now, here we sit today as fans of said franchise, worried, and rightfully so. Because while it's cool that James Wan is coming back to Saw, that's awesome, it's absolutely terrifying to know that they're likely rebooting this. Especially with Tobin Bell in his mid-80s. He's not going to be around much longer. Rebooting this for what? A movie or 2? Just to be back at square one? Just doesn't make much sense to me. I trust James Wan. I have no reason not to trust James Wan. But let's be honest, he's not a Saw fan. He's a fan of the first film. He does not like the franchise. So admittedly, I'm worried. I'm still upset that we're never going to see the Saw 11 that I wanted to see with Cecilia getting her comeuppance. I just don't think it's right that we're going to leave that hanging. That actually really pisses me off. I don't think it's right that we're not going to address what happened to Detective Hoffman after Saw 7. Pisses me off. I'm okay that we're not getting a Spiral 2, though. Look, I don't know what the future holds for the Saw franchise, but what it sounds like it holds, it's not something I'm really excited for. And that's a bummer. I'll be there day one, especially if Tobin Bell is present. But I don't want a creative reset. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you agree with the tiers that I put these movies into, or would you argue with me? Where would you place them? And what do you think about the future of the franchise? Are you disappointed like I am, or are you happy? Whatever your thoughts, please comment down below and let me know. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I'm sounding like a robot. And if you don't, oh yes, there will be blood.